I'll open this forum for people to ask you questions, if that's okay.
Okay. Yeah,
Okay.
sure.
So please raise your hand and I will sort of ask the name and that person would ask the question. Whoever has a question, please go ahead.
I think there was a question in chat.
Yeah, I'll just read it out for you. There are no hands as of now.
Okay.
Okay, so I'll just read the chat. Abhay Singh says that I have done MSc in physics and I have learned about data science and currently enrolled in quantum computing course. I want to make career in semiconductor industry. Please guide me which domain of semiconductor industry is suited for me according to my educational qualification. Okay, this is like dating kind of thing. People have given their, and then you have to date, you have to find a good date for them. Yeah.
Yeah. So one thing is for sure that data science is like a thing which is used everywhere now.
Mm-hmm.
So data science is something which will be helpful for you anywhere you want to apply in semiconductor itself. So I am working currently on analytics and I work with a lot of data, and with some data science background, it's easier to do the work. It's better. And so for semiconductor industry domain, like I want to first know what you are interested in. Is it
getting a
device? No, like it's okay.
Most of the
getting
people
a
are
job.
just interested in getting a job first.
But is it like device you want, or is it circuits that you want, or is it data analytics that you want? Because all are there in the semiconductor industry, right?
Abhay, are you here? Please unmute yourself and please respond to that.
Yes,
Otherwise,
sir, yes, sir. I'm yes, sir.
Okay.
Yeah.
Hi, Abhay.
Hi, ma'am. How are you?
I'm good, thanks. How are you doing?
I'm fine, ma'am. Actually, I want to work on device. Actually.
Okay. All right. So yeah, for devices, since you have MSc in physics, I think it will be helpful. I don't know exactly which all industries take like that, but definitely you can do courses based on devices to get the knowledge, to get the skills there. I'll send the list of courses and books that have helped me till now to Kumar, and maybe he can share. And so if you are interested in devices, then there is Micron, there are Global Foundries, and Kumar can also say about Global Foundries. He has also worked there. And in devices, like exactly what do you want to know? Like which domain is suited for you means, do you want to go for device engineering?
Physics is like there is a lot of branches in some is doing MTech in VLSI only, so domain is fixed. But in the physics, there is no certain branch we have to go.
Right.
There is no specialization. There's a lot of things come under the physics. So I'm little confused. Best suited for me because in the MSc of physics, there is no that much practical things are going on. Mostly are the theoretical way.
Okay.
I have also done internship in DRDO on graphene growth. So there is somewhat like practical, but otherwise there is mostly are practical. That was I was little bit confused which domain is best suited in the semiconductor industries.
Okay. So I have had friends in colleagues in Micron who have done their masters in physics and gotten there. So maybe I can connect you with them so that they can help you better, because I am not specifically, like I don't know specifically about that background. So is it okay with you?
Yeah, I am good.
Okay, great.
Thank you.
Abhay, just to add to what Gayatri said, I think I did a BSMS in physics without any specialization, and I accidentally landed in Global Foundries. But I think there are two things that you have said. One is that you have learned about data science and currently enrolled in quantum computing. I think there is a lot of new endeavors in quantum area. India has just invested a lot of money to start their own quantum computing center. If you just go through the news. Uh, most of it'll boil down to what Gayatri was asking you, and that's a question that most of the students I don't see themselves asking. Is it what is it that you are interested in, not what is it that will give you a job? Okay, because when you go for an interview, the person would want to know whether you have just come here to get a job or whether it is something that is interesting for you, so that they can invest in you the money and the time and a position, blah blah blah. Right? Once you sort of decide that, okay, then I think data science is a great sort of enabler for anything. You can do data science as a subject itself. You can do so many branches of physics in data science, and then the quantum computing is on its own, coupled with data science. And then I am assuming that with data science you have some coding background. With physics, that itself is a very different. That won't be a VLSI career, but that would be a quantum computing career, and that is also very much going to get hyped as we go ahead. So keep that in mind.
Yes,
So
sir.
there's also, I wanted to add, sorry, go ahead, Abhay.
No, sir. Actually, I just looking for the jobs for that in the I think solar industry. There is a silicon qubit is also in the boom. So my next step is to do some work in the quantum silicon qubits, the quantum computing.
Yeah.
That's also related to the semiconductor, I think.
Yeah. Best of luck. Okay.
Thank you.
Okay.
Best of luck. Yeah.
So we'll move to Shubham. Shubham, you have a question?
Hello, am I audible?
Yeah, Shubham, go ahead.
Hi, Shubham.
Hey, hi Gayatri, hi Kumar. So so basically I work in wireless industry and basically in the design part. What I want to know is I also had a very keen interest in devices when I was in BTech, MTech. I didn't do much on that. But yeah, one thing I found that devices deal with a lot of equations and all, which we do in academics. So I want to know from Gayatri that you are in devices. So when you were doing your day-to-day job or whatever you are doing, so it also deals with a lot of equations, or you write like MATLAB codes or some simulations to understand the device characteristics, or like what sort of analysis you do? Yeah.
Okay. So not really. I mean, in day-to-day life in devices, it's not equations, like solving equations at all as such. Like you have so mostly if you are going for VLSI jobs, in regular VLSI CMOS jobs, then it will be dealing with transistors and resistors and capacitors. So what equations you'll be dealing with are the basic equations, which are current equations of the transistors and basic IV resistance and capacitor equations. So usually equations come when I'm looking deep into something and I'm not able to understand it visually. Otherwise, it's more of knowing, like having that sense of knowledge that, okay, this thing can have an impact on whatever performance is changing. So probably after that, look into how it can change. So there are not a lot of equations in devices, to be honest.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, because in academics we do a lot of whenever we read devices, or I did some couple of lectures long back. So I remember professors were dealing with a lot of equations. So I was
are you talking about the solid state physics where you deal with the quantum?
Yeah, exactly. There was one professor.
Okay.
Right. If you there was one professor from IIT Madras. He was actually, he has a very nice lecture on device physics. I think Professor Karmarkar or something.
Okay.
I'm not able to recall. So yeah, one more thing is like how suppose I have interest, but I never got chance to work on devices. But suppose in the future, if I want to switch my career from design aspect or VLSI front end aspect to the devices,
Okay.
so how do you think like this switch will be like? What all I should be getting in touch with those things? Like what all I should be brushing up in the back?
Okay. So one thing is definitely the transistor physics mostly, right? Because you are currently working on circuits, you would be using transistors and all other stuff, right? You need to know how they work in the basic level, in electron basic level. You don't need to go too much into details into quantum electronics, but so there is this lecture from Mark Lundstrom on NanoHub that you can follow, because that is something which is a basic for devices.
Okay.
So that's one thing. Yeah. And all the best if you want to switch.
Hey, thank you.
And Gayatri, I think the material that you're talking about, I think I'll be posting on the WhatsApp group. So if you are on the WhatsApp group, I'll share it. If you are not on WhatsApp group, try to join it. I must have shared the link on my LinkedIn.
And Kumar, one question to you. I just found you. I often follow you on your LinkedIn.
Oh my God, I'm Shah Rukh Khan of LinkedIn. Yeah,
you post a lot of things related to semiconductors. So just one thing. Like we are talking about manufacturing fabs, and it is like something we hear every day about. Some news comes up. Just one thing. Like what about making the lithography machines, like whatever is used? Like today I think ASML is one of the companies who make in Netherlands. So do we have any plans on that? Like do you know any sort of things which can come up in India as well? Like that is also one of the things where like a lot of potential and a lot of things VLSI people can get through, and for country as well.
See, if there is one theory that I have read, which is the most universal one, is the demand and supply. Okay, demand sort of drives the supply. Okay, in a country where there is hardly any fabrication facility, think about starting a company or think about starting a setup where you are trying to make a lithography machine. Right? How many buyers are there? One. Okay. Even if you have buyer, then the kind of lithography is something which is very quality sensitive. So if you think about it, ASML is the latest company in the lithography sort of domain, beyond Canon, beyond Nikon, and there are other smaller companies. Another thing that I might have posted on one of my LinkedIn posts. It will take a lot of time before we sort of go into instrumentation of it. The point it will take is when we have, say, 3-4 fabs in India, and we see that there are 40 tools getting supplied to just Indian market. That's when some of the people would want to enter into instrumentation part of it, which is AMAT, Lam Research. These are all companies which work on just making instruments. But for India to sort of go into that direction, the first thing that you need is to create demand, and to create demand, manufacturing, and that is where we are at right now.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah. Deepak, go ahead.
Yeah. Hi, Kumar. Hi, Gayatri.
Hi, Deepak.
So my question is also inclined towards some placement questions. So actually, I'm a master's student from IT Delhi. So I have seen my friends who have got placed in big companies. So the question is, when they go for a particular profile, digital or analog. So when we talk about digital, there are multiple profiles in a digital also. We can go for front end and a formal verification or a physical design things later on that. So when company comes, they only specify digital profile. So but while going inside the company, you will not be sure that what profile will be getting. So as if I talk about my perspective, I have worked on circuits and digital both sides. So if I want to go into the company, so how I can be sure that I will be getting the profile which I want?
So one thing is that when the companies post their requirements, they also post what you are expected to do, right? Yes. But being a very like circuits in general being a large group, they have validation, they have verification, circuit design, layout, so many things in place, right?
Correct.
So probably when you're giving the interview, you can ask the interviewer what exactly the work is all about. That will give you an idea of exactly what you're going to work on. But otherwise, it's difficult to know because usually so vacancies happen in different teams, and when they take people from when they take graduates from colleges, they usually take them in a group, in a bunch, and unless you tell them during the interview that you are interested in this profile, they won't give you that profile.
Okay.
So they'll send you to the team which has, like, I mean, it's depending on who is taking your interview and which profile which team they belong to.
Okay.
Yeah. Kumar, you have any other comments on this?
Yeah, so Deepak, there are two aspects to it. One is freshers. I think fresher is a very luck kind of thing. The first girl you dated and you wanted to marry, that's your call, right? But the second one, where you have sort of some experience, I think that is where you can take some sort of positioning. That although, and there are things, it also happens the other way around. That, sir, I am applying for analog and I am very much interested in analog, so that you keep one bird in hand. But you say that, I have so much interest in digital. Would you want to sort of take my candidature to a digital person? So another thing that I want to add here is that, since we are on this question, is that when we are asking for job, people show a lot of desperation. Okay, that's the worst thing. Okay, someone said, right, मतलब वो लड़की तो मिलनी थी नहीं, तो एटीट्यूड में ही रह लिए. समझ रहे हो? Like, if you're not going to get the job, or if you're going to get the job, keep the attitude intact. Ki, sir, this is where I stand, that I want to have this profile only. Even if you're not giving me that profile, then I will consider going to the profile that you want to give. But keep that stand clear. That shows how much clarity you have for your own career. And I think Steve Jobs said that if you don't ask, the answer is always no.
Yeah.
Right.
Correct.
So best of luck. Right.
Okay,
Best of luck.
Himani, over to you.
Yeah. Hi, Kumar sir. Hi, Gayatri. Hi again.
Hi.
Actually,
Thank you for
I
calling me
already told
sir.
you. Oh.
Yeah.
No, I literally follow you on LinkedIn, right? I literally follow you, everything related to semiconductor, all the history and everything you post. I read it thoroughly.
I should consider contesting for elections, I think.
Actually,
Yeah,
I already told. Yeah. Gayatri, as I told you that since 2 years, it will be 2 years and 2 months that I am working in telecom domain.
Mm-hmm.
Though I wanted to go into VLSI eagerly, now I feel that there is a need to get back into my domain. And I was preparing for a physical design engineer to get to that post actually. So I was going through floor planning and everything. And I was learning Perl also. So they ask for experience, right? 2 years experience, 3 years experience in VLSI, what you have worked. My background is telecom. So what should I do? Like, how telecom won't help me because these are two different industries itself. So I wanted to ask if there is anything you could help me. Means it will be totally based on my concepts in VLSI. And if they are asking for 2 years or 3 years experience, how do I show them that I want that job or I am looking for a job into VLSI domain?
Okay. One thing is, if you're not getting directly into PD, you can go via ASIC to that, right? But then you have to have some like starting with circuits, maybe. I'm not really sure how you can switch from telecom to PD in that way. But what I have seen from some of my friends was that they were working in some aspect of they were working in, although they were in semiconductors, but it was not in the circuits, or maybe they wanted to go from circuits to device to circuits. There they had used a way to go there, like via ASIC or via firmware or something. So once you like being in telecom, you must have had some RF related experience, right? Himani?
Yeah, there is, but it's not much.
Okay, but probably you can go for something which has RF and power electronics kind of thing to start with. And then after some experience there, change to PD. But yeah, I'm not really sure about that.
No, I totally understand, because I am also like in a confusion how to change. Also, I wanted to add that I have worked on Xilinx when I was in MTech, and I have worked on VHDL also.
Okay.
So how all these things will sum up, like VHDL, Xilinx, Pearl, then I am also studying about PD. How
So
all these things will sum up? Yeah.
One thing is that you can go for CAD jobs, right?
Okay.
Which are so there probably you can get through from another domain, because like places like Synopsys or Xilinx itself. So they look for people who can do this work along with other experiences. But Kumar, do you have any other idea about this?
The only course I took in college, which was in electronics, I got a D, the only D I've ever got in my life. And I am supposed to be sort of India's semiconductor sort of person. It's an irony. Himani, two things I want to sort of say. One is that first thing that you should do, you should write all the skills / things that you have done. Okay. Now, once you have that, then try and find that this is one. Now, where do you want to go? What are the requirements there? Okay. Now, the second thing you have to do, you have to find a 1:1, 1:2, 1:3, 1:4, whatever is, what are the skills that can be translated from here to here? Okay. There'll be some. Okay. You just have to dig in harder. Okay. Once you realize that there is some, okay, and it's not like very direct that you have done MTech in device physics and you are getting a device job. Know that, then it's okay. But what you can do is that then you have to tell a good story. Okay. I know a friend of mine who worked as a semiconductor fab engineer, and currently he is working as a finance guy in one of the top consulting companies. Okay. The way he sort of did it is that he said that the only thing that I was doing as a fab engineer was analyzing data. Okay. He sort of framed the story in such a way, and then he said that as a finance person also, I'll be analyzing the data. It's just that it'll be real money and more money in this job, while the fab engineer's job would be not real money and a lot of fuck ups. So that's one. Okay, try to find that translation. Okay, and try to talk to people who are smart, who can see the correlating, including Gayatri, not me. That's one. The second thing is that try to tell a good story. Okay. If you are sort of switching from one domain to another, if you say a good story, okay, then you are in. Okay, just tell them that why you are jumping from one sort of boat to another. Okay, just tell them that I'm so much in love, that it doesn't feel like a jump or something like that, right? That's a very important skill. Third advice to you is that try to find people who are working there, who know you. Okay, if you just want to enter into anything just through your skill, it will be a hard test. Okay, if you want to go through someone that okay, you must have done your MTech, some people on LinkedIn. If you don't, then try and meet those people on LinkedIn and tell them your story, and tell them you're so much excited, you do this and you do that, and show some excitement. Their sort of influence on the hiring manager can take you through. Okay, now the fourth thing that you can do is, if none of these works out, okay, and none of these works out. Hello?
Yeah.
I'm saying if none of these work out, and you're first, that I would see three of them giving you at least 6 jobs in the next 3 months. Okay, if you've done it like really diligently. Last thing that you should do, you should consider doing a short-term course. Okay, in whatever field. What will happen is that if you do that short-term course, one, you will meet a lot of people who are in that domain who can give you sort of referrals to go there, and B, because of that, you can say that I had this background, I wanted to switch here, that's why I did this, so now I am sort of a good candidate to reach here. Okay, so does that make sense, Himani?
Yeah. It makes a lot of sense. Yeah, I'll try. So short-term courses will also help, right? Because somebody gave me this advice that you should get into short-term courses because now it's been a long gap. It's 2.5 years since I did my MTech. It was
That's
in
okay.
2020.
That's okay.
Yeah.
KFC was started by a guy who was 60 years old. So you realized your calling. I am 8+ years of experience in semiconductors. Have no idea what I want to do with my life. Not 1%. So that's okay.
Sir, literally, I mean, your humor is to another level. It is so good talking to you. Thank you so much. I'm literally I'm very happy that I got connected with both of you, Kumar and Gayatri.
Thank you.
And I should try stand-up comedy. That should be my life calling. We have Adu Nuri Ganesh. I don't know if it's a he or she, so let's go with Adu Nuri. The person is asking, as I am BTech final year ECE domain, to settle in the ECE core side job, which is better? VLSI front end, VLSI back end. Okay, I think what they are trying to ask is more in terms of salary and future. Okay. What do you want to say?
Again, I would say the same thing. Know what your interest lies in.
Okay, but which one pays more? Just tell us which one pays more.
Design pays more.
Design pays you more. So, Adu Nuri, if you're here, you got your answer. We have Roshni Jain. Roshni Jain is asking, I have done MSc in applied physics. Recently, I completed 6-month internship in semiconductor fabrication team where I got theoretical knowledge but didn't get hands-on experience. If possible, please share if any semiconductor manufacturing / fabrication course in India, which will help me for future jobs.
I'm not sure if there are fabrication courses in India. Most of them would be theoretical only, but those theories are still helpful. If you can do something based on TCAD also, it will be helpful to get into semiconductor manufacturing places, because any place which is based on fabrication and manufacturing, they need TCAD modeling in order to they can't be wasting their time and resources in running multiple wafers, multiple experiments in real life. So they need TCAD to verify what they should do and what they should how they should go ahead. So if you have some TCAD knowledge, then it will help you definitely in finding jobs where fabrication is there.
I think that there is one course by ISC, which is a 9-month course in PG. I think it's a diploma sort of thing with Talent Sprint. They are sort of selling the course. I'm not sure how good is the course, so please figure out the quality of it. IIT Bombay also did a 4-day sort of thing, I think last month, where they were giving you some sort of exposure.
Yes, sir.
Please, can you mute your mic for now? Yeah. So that's there. I think TCAD is a good idea. There are other software which is more on the simulation side of equipments that you can sort of try. Another thing that I would advise is to if you can get some internship with people who have fabs in like IIT Bombay and IISc. There are some fresher jobs as well in both IIT and IISc in the nano fab. Where you sort of work on your work as an operator. And just to add, since we are on this topic, there is a lot of jobs that is going to come in operator and technician circle, because all the Microns and the Vedantas, they might sort of outsource every engineer abroad and bring it here, but you can't outsource operators. right? So there'll be a lot of jobs. So that will also be a good place. Just write a good mail to guys like Vasu in IISc, Susoban Avasthi in IISc, Herudyan, Swaroop, Saurabh Loda, all those sorts of people who work on this. So I think that would be okay. Abhay, you were saying something.
Sir, can I join solar industry to go to the semiconductor? Is it good to me?
Yeah, solar is also there. You can join the solar companies. So solar cells are basically semiconductors itself, right? So
Yes.
it's a part of the semiconductor industry
Because
only.
it's easy to go into the solar. There is a lot of startups in the Delhi or any other regions.
Sure. I mean, you can look into it. What kind of jobs they want? What kind of vacancies they are looking for? Like what kind of people they're looking for? Is it physics based? Is it something else? Yeah. I mean, it's a good opportunity for you as well.
Thank you.
Yeah. Thanks.
Ankit is asking, is any fresher opening for BTech EC 2023 pass out? Is there in Micron?
I'm not sure. I don't know. You should look into Micron's careers site to find that out.
Okay. There is Muriki who is asking, ma'am, what is the difference between analog, digital, and device profiles?
Okay. So what I mean by analog is that you will be doing analog design, which is based on op amps and RC circuits and current mirrors, if people know here what these things are. So basically you'll be working on transistors and how to amplify their voltages and so on. For digital circuits, it will be mostly related to clocks. You'll be having clocks. You'll be working on timing analysis, and I think that's, in my mind, that's what I think analog and digital circuits are, where you are going to design the circuits. So you will have specific requirements, like you should have this much area, this much power you should use, and you should give me this much voltage output with some input voltage or current. So that is something that usually is done in analog circuits. In digital circuits, you have to look into you have some timing where there is a clock, there's input coming from somewhere, there's a clock coming from somewhere, and you have to make them such that they reach together at some point. It should not be like clock is reaching first and then input is coming later or something like that. So there you design the circuits based on those requirements. So you have to, like, analog and digital design means you design circuits based on certain requirements that you have. Devices is basically a lower level of, like, it's more abstraction than the design, because here you're dealing with those specific components that you'll be using to make the design. For example, you're using transistors, you're using diodes, so you'll be looking into them, that how they are working, if they are working fine or not, what is their current equation, how do they behave if I put some current in it and then I get some output. So devices would be dealing with what is happening inside the devices, and analog and digital would be taking those devices and making them into something which you can get output from. So I think that's, yeah.
What devices do you design, Gayatri? You don't design.
I am not design. I don't design. I am in devices. So I look into the devices specifically, like transistors, capacitors, resistors, and diodes, and I look into their performance and how they work. If they're working fine, then they can go forward in the design. If they're not, then I raise those things.
Okay, so now there are no questions, and I think we have exceeded 15 minutes, so we will not take much of Gayatri's time. So thank you, everyone. Thank you, Gayatri, for doing this. I am sure it is helpful for everyone. And if you have any message for these people, please, this is the right time.
I would first say, like, thank you so much for joining, everyone. Thank you, Kumar, for organizing this. And one thing that I want to say to everyone is that don't look for placements as such to, when you're studying, like, look how you can improve your skills so that you have an idea of what you want to do instead of looking into which companies pay you. Like, it's a thing that you should look into if they pay better, but also have an idea of what you want to do instead of just going forward with placements. Because this is the question which I very usually get, that what should I prepare for design. Now, when you are talking about design, you have analog and digital, and you need to understand which design you like. Because for me, it was like, I don't like digital design at all. For me, it was like, I like analog. But have a introspection and talk to yourself what you like and find it out for yourself. And all the best.